So, I just finished the first chapter of Elantris, and I'm in. I am so in. This was his first book. That's crazy. Well, I guess first published book, right? Like, I heard he'd written a bunch, but this was his first professionally published book. Dude, this world, and starting it, being like, oh, eternity, it's going to be great. This guy woke up, didn't even know he was damned. I was like, okay, all right. Prince Raoden, he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. I like the idea that the city of Elantris used to be this, like, city of beautiful, amazing beings, and now it's just hell. Nuts. And then anyone could turn into an Elantrian, and it used to be a good thing, but now it's a bad thing. And he wakes up with, like, black patches all over him, and they're just like, wow, the prince, sorry, dude, you're getting shipped out. What? And then he goes into the city, and it's just covered in sludge, and it's gross. And then he sees an old man, but it's actually like a 16-year-old kid who has, like, no teeth. Ugh. And it just keeps getting worse. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to give you this piece of bread. And then when he walked away, he said he heard a thud. I was like, oh, the kid's getting jumped, isn't he? He turned around, and they broke his neck with, like, a cudgel. And then Raoden stubs his toe. And then Galadon's just like, yeah, that shit's going to hurt forever. That is diabolical. How did Brandon Sanderson come up with this? Because, yikes, that's awful. It is kind of, it's not funny, but it is kind of funny that everyone who gets this, like, disease, essentially, gets sent just like, all right, well, you're going to Elantris with, like, a goodie bag, and then you just get jumped, and your pain is forever. What? This is awesome. I'm so into this, and I love the characters, and, like, the stuff that he's doing with it. I'm intrigued. Let's do this. All right, chapter 2 of Elantris. Now, don't get too excited. I don't know if I'm going to do every chapter per video. I might. I don't know. I can't tell you the future, but I don't want to promise it. So, just taper those expectations. But, Serene's really cool. I like her a lot. She's really smart. And I like that she's immediately like, something isn't right here. I think it's cool that she's traveling with a, like, ball of light named Ash, I think. And he can, like, allow her to FaceTime, which, FaceTime, because they're faces. That's creative and cool. I never would have seen that coming. Raoden's parents, I don't like them. Like, his dad's fine, and his mom is also, like, fine, but the fact that they lied about the cause of death is interesting. I like that Serene's immediately like, I want to go to the funeral, and I want to see in the casket, and they're like, And then she gets there, and they're completely ignoring her, and just being like, oh, things are just happening. I'm like, something is not right here at all. I do enjoy we got the kind of, like, political intrigue, Game of Thrones stuff going on, where people are getting married because a war is coming, and their kingdoms need each other's resources and stuff like that. A strange contract to have it be like, if somebody dies in between, the contract still holds as long as you adhere to the terms and conditions. Yeah. Interesting. Her parents are cool, though. I like her parents. They seem to actually love her and be neat. So I'm interested. I'm very interested to see how this goes, because Raoden is the prince of this place, Kai, and he died and got shipped to Elantris, but his fiancée, betrothed, is now in his place, essentially. There are pieces moving, and we're setting the board. What's going on? I don't know, but I like it. I like it so far. Whoa. So, just finished chapter 3 of Elantris, and I met, Hrathen? This guy is crazy. He reminds me of, Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the animated Disney movie. Also, that's him, right? That's Hrathen, and that's, Serene. Yeah, this guy is crazy. To use the idea of having, like, a priest, but he's, like, wearing red armor, and he's going in and just going to the first guy and be like, hey, you're fired, by the way. And then the note was like, yeah, we need to kill that guy. And his mandate is essentially just You got 3 months to convert everybody, or we are scorched earthing this whole place because Elantris is tainting stuff and I don't like it. Ooh. I will say, it is a pretty badass line to say, what was it? I want to read it specifically, because I was like, damn, that's pretty good. It was, here we go. While my empire is eternal, my patience will soon end. Yikes. I would not want to be on the other side of that guy. Or his, enforcer, who's there to be the hand on the ground. Ooh. This is crazy. The fact that this book has Raoden, some prince who wakes up and just has, the curse and gets thrown in the trash, to Serene, who's like, I'm going to go get married. Just kidding. But you're still going to be the princess here because that was agreed to the contract. And then a battle priest? What is this book? Also, I'm totally going to make a video using this sound. But you know that video when it's when you're reading fantasy and it's yes, we came up to Shmeshmermeter, and he was traveling with Bafchiberger, and it's just noises? That is how I feel so far. Because there's so much. This city, inside of this religion, called this priest from this place, that's actually this province of this. I'm like, oh. I've said before in my videos, I am just smart enough not to be a dumbass. And this is a lot. But it's okay. It's okay. Once I get my bearings, we are going to be good. But so far, I am really, really liking it. All right, we're cooking. We are cooking. I love this. I love that. There's gangs and turf wars, and depending on what direction you go in when you first get to Elantris, it's bad, terrible, the worst. That's nuts. Karada is a gang leader that has straight up escaped Elantris multiple times. I already like her. I don't even know who she is. Karada, she doesn't hurt people. She just goes up and is just give me your food. Come on. And then she just escapes and just breaks the rules. I don't know who she is, but I'm excited to meet her. Also, they said that there's Seons, the little light ball things, are just hanging out in Elantris because if their master gets sent here, they go crazy. Does everyone have a Seon? Interesting. I love that Raoden's yeah, my dad probably told people I'm dead. Pinned him. It's kind of not as terrible as it seems, not Elend and Straff, where I wish you were dead, but very much well, yeah, my son died. What are you going to do? Let's just move on. I got a new daughter now. That's kind of cool. So that was crazy. I really enjoy Galadon a lot. And he can do magic. The chapter ended with him doing his magic stuff. Interesting. And he said that most people only last 2 years, but he's only been there for a few months. He seems to know a lot for someone who's only been there for a few months. And he also seems pretty, dare I say, well-adjusted for someone who's been in this hellhole for months. I do love the idea that nobody wants to get into a fight because even small cuts and stuff will just ruin existence forever. So nobody actually wants to get into a fight. So if you just walk as if you're gonna fight, they'll typically leave you alone. That's pretty cool. Because I spent a week in Camden, New Jersey one time to visit one of my best friend's family. And for anyone that's been to Camden, New Jersey, it sucks. And it's also quite dangerous, especially for someone who looks like me. And I didn't wear glasses back then. But I learned probably 2 days in that as long as you walk down the street and you look pissed, nobody messes with you. And it kind of reminded me of this. We're yeah, just look like you're not going to go quietly into that good night, and they're not going to mess with you. Because you break their nose, and it's broken forever, and it's just not worth it. So, yeah, I'm loving this. This is very cool. Also, I wonder how long it's going to be before I just start calling people Kolo and Suli. Probably not long. Alright, so I just finished chapter 8 of Elantris, and a lot is happening, a lot is going on. Hrathen shows up and is just yeah, King, here's the deal. You need to get your shit together, or things are not going to go well for you. So, yikes, threatening the king, because, why not? And Serene immediately is like, if I'm going to save the city, I need to go after that guy. Like, she is so smart. She's so much smarter than me. I would have been like, man, this guy's a problem. That would never enter my mind of like, man, if I'm going to save the city, I'm going to need to take care of that. Like, she immediately jumps into action. She is so cool. I love her uncle's family. I think it's a really cool thing to have, like, because obviously we're setting up some pieces right now, and, like, shit is sideways, but, I don't know, it's just fun to have, like, a cool, just family dynamic thing happening. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, the Weasleys in the Harry Potter movies, you know, where it's like, yeah, there's Voldemort, and there's the boy who lived, and there's all these new things, and this new world is happening, but also, let's just have dinner, and it's going to be cool, and her uncle's awesome. I enjoyed that a lot. Hrathen saying some of the coldest lines ever, being like, you know what? You want to know how to control a country? You want to know how to take over a nation? Give them something to hate, because hate will get people so quickly motivated to do whatever you want. And a part of me is like, ooh, that's a little close to home, but I guess universal truths are universal truths. And so the Elantrian magic doesn't work anymore. Like, you can do little, like, letters in the air, but it just doesn't do anything. That's interesting. I love that, you know, we're getting these POV chapters, because, as I've mentioned in past videos, A Song of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones books, is my favorite book series I've ever read. And one of my favorite things is you get the same event from different points of views, but you know more information than the characters do, so you kind of got to piece it together. And the fact that Raoden and Galadin and Marishi see Hrathen giving his, like, speech from across the wall, but they don't know who he is, very cool. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. And he's a problem. I think it's great that Raoden immediately is like, well, I'm the new guy. When's the next new guy going to get here? We should get to him first. And I have an idea. I thought that was great. And the guy's like, I'm a jeweler. He goes, okay, this is Elantris. What are we going to do with that? He's like, okay, all right, I'm an artisan. He goes, cool. Can you make shoes? Because my toe is killing me. It's not good. Also, Raoden wants him to call him Spirit. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that, bud, but interesting. I do think it is very funny that Serene is like, I'm just going to go paint in the throne room. And the king's going to get pissed, but, like, what's he going to do? And she just plays dumb, and everyone keeps buying into it. I thought that was really funny. I think it's really cool that her cousin Lukel and Raoden were best friends. And everyone loved Raoden. And the fact that Raoden would just pick fights with his dad all the time. That's really cool. Something not cool, his dad is only king because he was, like, the most successful small business owner in the community. And they're like, well, money equals power, so you have the most of it. Yeah, that makes sense. And he'd been trying to get rid of Raoden for, like, years. So I bet when Raoden woke up and he had, like, the black splotches, his dad was like, shit, yeah, I knew this day would come. I've been praying for it. This is fantastic. Get him out of here. That guy's the worst. Now, also, the engagement was Serene's idea? And she also knows that the Wyrn is, like, a problem? Interesting. And Serene undermining Hrathen's speech to the crowd was so funny. She's, oh, but what about this? And he's like, uh-huh. And at the end, basically, game recognizes game, and Hrathen just looks at her and just nods, which is also terrifying, because she was prodding him, and he was calm the whole time, and then it was over and the crowd dissipated, to just be like, I see you. Ooh, this guy is dangerous, but also very cool. I gotta be honest, he's a very cool, like, zealot. Never thought I'd say that. No, Hrathen's cool. I love that Serene is, like, just going around causing trouble. She's very cool. And her cousins, the little one, when it was all over, was like, you were so stupid. I laughed out loud. That was very funny. And I love that the chapter ends with her seeing Raoden and his pals, but she doesn't know it's them. I love it when authors do that, because you're like, wait, who's that? But they don't know, but we know, and I'm into it. This book is awesome.
Day 3 on the road to It's been ages since we left Pyramid. As always, my companions and Carl are with me.
Okay, so I am officially on chapter 14 of Elantris, and a lot has happened. And first and foremost, Hrathen wants to destroy Elantris now, and he's holding rallies, and he's got a Seon locked in a box? I did not see that coming. Also, everyone is kind of figuring out who Raoden is. Like, Galadon is like, very interesting. Very interesting that you know a lot about these things. And the prince, died recently. But also Galadon said that he was a farmer. I think I'm with Raoden on this one. I don't know if he was. I don't know if he seems pretty worldly and cool. But there's a whole Duladel thing, so maybe. I do like that Raoden is, like, building his own little crew now. He's got, like, his own community that he's building, and it's based on, like, hey, let's just be nice to each other. So that was a thing. Karada. Met Karada. And let me tell you, remember the last video? I was like, oh, she sounds really cool. I'm very excited. The fact that the first line out of her mouth is like, yeah, burn this place down, chase them out, and break some bones. I was like, oh, shit, I was wrong. She's not cool. She's not cool at all. But then they made the deal of like, hey, I can get you into the palace. I can make that happen for you. And she's like, okay, go on. I did think that was very cool that she went to see her kid. I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool that her husband was a guard and that she got to leave the necklace behind for her kid. That was neat. And the fact that she is basically raising the kids of Elantris, that is so cool. I mean, like, in the span of a chapter, we went from she's threatening and terrible to heartbroken because her husband didn't even recognize her, to she's actually got a big heart and she's taking the offerings from the newcomers just to, like, feed kids. Man, what a roller coaster. Serene going from like trying to get into the aristocracy via parties. Interesting. I've heard that before. I do really like the fact that Raoden is, like, only taking corn from people that are coming in so that he can plant it, and he wants to make Elantris, like, self-sustaining. That's pretty cool. Although, I'm on chapter 14 now. There's still a very long way to go. And Hrathen is like, we're wiping Elantris off the map. That's what has to happen now. But Raoden is trying to rebuild Elantris, and Serene is trying to, like, beat Hrathen, politically speaking. And King Iadon is, like, an idiot. I don't know. I feel like something's coming to a head, because this is very early on for everyone to already start making these, like, really big moves. And Raoden, I don't know. There's a lot going on in my head. I mean, like, everyone pretty much knows who he is now. Even Karada was like, yeah, I know who you are. I've seen you since you were a kid. My husband was one of your guards. Like, I get it. I don't know. I feel like this is stuff that normally happens, like, way later on. So he's obviously gonna, like, try to rebuild Elantris. I do like the idea that he's pretty much like, nobody thought ahead of time because everyone is just so mentally defeated all the time. And if we give someone, like, purpose, then they'll want to live. And there's a way to do this. So it's interesting that Raoden is going to try to rebuild Elantris from the inside, but Hrathen is getting ready to wipe it clean and just wipe it off the map. Yeah, it's just there's so many pieces happening and being set up right now that I don't know where this is gonna go. You know what I mean? I did think it was crazy that, I don't know why I didn't believe it, because they've said it over and over and over and over, that they're actually dead. Like, I thought it was just like you got this disease and then you got like this, black patches all over yourself, and they're like, they're dead, throw them in the trash. But like, Raiden straight up said he held his breath for 30 minutes and the blood just isn't coursing through their bodies anymore. And then Karada's husband didn't even recognize her. There's a lot happening here. Like, where is this gonna go from here? Either way, also the scene with Serene's uncle's friends, the kind of like meeting, there were so many names and locations and places in one chapter that my head was spinning. That video I made of like, yes, and traveling with the and Carl, that's what that chapter felt like. That was a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. My ADD was all over the place. It did not want to receive that information. It was a little slow before this past chapter, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm back in. We're stealthing. We're going through some crazy shit. We'll see what happens. Onward. So I just finished chapter 17 of Elantris, and Serene's kind of speech about how men are intimidated by women that they find to be their intellectual superior, or men aren't really into strong, confident, intelligent women. And listen, I'm turning this into a PSA. Gentlemen, dudes, people that are into women, those are the ones that you want. I've been with the same woman for 15 years now. She's a nurse, and we've been married for 7 years this year. And let me tell you, strong, independent, smart women, they're the way to go. They will save your life 100 times to 1. They remember things that you will not remember. They can give you things that you didn't even know that you needed. The emotional support and the just having your back, and just to have a partner. Oh, I'm telling you, Serene is a catch, even if she's not being told so herself at this point. Also, things are sad now, because Raiden, his Seon is like wandering Elantris and doesn't recognize anything. That's real sad. I mean, Also, I like that Raiden like recognizes people because he was a prince, but he's bald now? Yikes. But also, I like that Raiden is kind of having the sort of he's not having, he already knows, the kind of philosophical realization of like, sometimes people just need something to do. And if you have like a purpose, then it can keep you moving forward. I think that's pretty neat. Something I think is crazy is that Hrathen is the one that helped overthrow Duladel's government, and that's where Galadon is from. And Galadon didn't even know that his government got overthrown. Woo! We're picking up here a little bit. And then Serene teaching the other women to fight. It's like, yeah, that's kind of what we do. Pretty cool. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing, perhaps. Maybe Serene's going to be doing some cool stuff soon. Maybe. I will say, I'm going to be completely honest, it's dragging a little bit. I was very excited. I liked all the introductions, but now it's like, okay, yeah, balls and people talking, and all right, yeah, okay. So I'm still enjoying it. I'm making my way through. But yeah, I think I'm also spoiled because Mistborn was so cool, and like there was so much going on, whereas like now we're kind of in the what's about to happen stages of it, I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just rambling at this point. But also, I'm kind of, because I'm so in like the Mistborn world, when they talked about the guards having metal armor and breastplates and stuff, I'm like, that's not smart. But it's Elantris, not Critic Shaw and Luthadel. But anyway, also, Brandon Sanderson likes things that are Del, right? Luthadel, Duladel, and just other Dels. Just like his jam, I guess. Anyway, that's where we're at. Onward! So, I just finished chapter 27, and the plot is thickening. I mean, Hrathen trying to send away Deloff, and then he realizes, like, oh, well, hold on, wait a second. I think this is what he wants. Shit, well, that's not going to work. And then, the last part that I just finished, it was like, he ordered poison, and he was going to give it to Deloff, but he's like, well, I can't do that now. And Deloff is, like, basically in charge. This isn't good. And then he drinks it himself? Hrathen, my dude. He's going through it. I loved the scene between him and Omen. Because Raven, this badass warrior guy's like, I've got it all figured out. And Omen's like, yeah, I mean, it seems that you think that, but there's no feeling. Where'd that go, man? See ya. Just leaves him with it, and it clearly bugs him. I enjoy that. I'm enjoying this kind of like faith battle that Hrathen's having, because he has to portray the like full power of his religion to the people, but behind closed doors he's like, oh man, what is going on? And Sheor is a little girl in a dress, which is like one of the most terrifying gang leaders ever. That is hilarious. As is Serene and Raoden like talking back and forth to each other, and Raoden knows who she is, but she doesn't know who he is. And can somebody explain this to me, because I probably already forgot it and I'm kind of losing it a little bit. Why is Serene sending like monkey's paw versions of Raoden's requests? What is that? Why is she doing that? Like, he's being like, we kind of need this, and she goes, okay. You said you wanted it in blue, but all I've got is like purple. You're like, I don't know. Am I missing something there? Also, the fact that the old man, the Hoid, was actually like an original Elantrian. I didn't see that coming. And then they put him in the lake, and he just like dissolves? Is the lake a portal? Is that a thing? Like, what are they called? Like a nexus point? Or like you go through the lake and then you end up like on the other side? Like how Kelsier was in the cognitive realm, but the Elantrians were there too? Is that like a door where like it's the upside down? Is that what that is? The fact that Galadin's dad was an Elantrian is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I'm interested to see how that comes into play. I feel like there might be something else. There might be something else with this in the future. I did think it was funny that the second that Raoden like is kind of getting Elantris going, he's like, okay, we got a good thing going here. We'll get some crops, we'll figure it out, we'll give people stuff to do, we'll make this work. And then Serene, for her widow's trial, is like, we need to feed the Elantrians. And Raoden's like, oh, well, that's gonna just ruin everything that I've been trying to do. But okay, yeah, let's figure it out. All in all, it's not dragging as much anymore. I enjoy that, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Okay, things are kind of really popping off now. Sheor's men attacked Serene during one of like her food drops, and then Salen got his legs broken and got turned into a Hoid, and that's really sad because I really liked Salen a lot. He was cool, and poor guy. But then Serene sees that the king is like, all right, well, time to wipe off Elantris. Let's do this. We're gonna wipe him out. And then she's like, I don't think so. You're trying to ruin shit. And also, by the way, the only reason you're stored here is because of me. Yeah, and I'm going to tell everybody if you don't call this off. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. But she was yelling at him so loudly that everyone could hear. That is hilarious. Also, hilarious in kind of a different way. Hrathen has the curse now? What? Now, the question is that I have, because he said that he ordered the poison. And then he said the poison was for Dilaf. But then he's like, all right, you know what? And then he just took it. Did he know that it was going to cause the curse? Or was he actively trying to poison Dilaf? And then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to kill myself. What is happening there? Whew. So, the king was naked, sacrificing a woman covered in her blood, surrounded by people in black robes. What? What is happening right now? And then the people showed up to save Serene, and Dilaf was there, but Dilaf was not a part of this? Or was he? Oh. Ew. And also, yikes, what a crash out. Is that what kids say nowadays? It's like, man, he got shamed so bad that he joined a cult? Sheesh. Yikes. He got shamed so bad that he joined a cult? Sheesh. Yikes. Oh, never mind. It's so much worse. He was always in a cult. That's Raoden's dad. I mean, don't tell Raoden. He's busy. So Iadon wasn't just a member of the cult. He was a cult leader? And now he's hung himself. And Serene and Royale are getting married so they can combine their money and be the most powerful couple financially in Kai. But Hrathen was faking it? What? That is genius. Genius. To be caught with the curse, we're like, well, yeah, it can get anybody, even a Gjorn, yeah. And then he goes into Elantris and just prays publicly for like 5 days, and then he's healed? Genius. That dude is playing chess. Well played. Well played, sir. All right. Hrathen has stepped up his game, dude. He gets out and he straight up says, mind you, he faked the curse. And then as he's leaving Elantris, he looks at the people who are actually sick and he's just like, enjoy your damnation. What a line. This dude is a monster. Terrible, terrible. And then I just finished the chapter where he poisoned Serene on her wedding. Whoa, dude. I wasn't sure. I could tell something was wrong. I was like, I got a bad feeling about this. The spidey senses are tingling. There's a disturbance in the force. She goes out. She takes her veil off, and people start screaming. I was like, oh, shit. Someone's attacking somebody. What's happening? And she's bald. And I was like, oh, no. Which is interesting because somebody poisoned her, right? Like, the potion's going to wear off in a few days, it said. But her hair came off. That's going to take that's going to take some time to grow back. Oh, that poor girl. But she's going to get thrown into Elantris, and that's where Raoden is. So, like, what's going on here? This is so funny, because Raoden is basically taking Serene on, like, a walk of shame. But he's not doing it on purpose. It's the idea that he's like, here, come this way. Welcome to the town. Oh, it's you. All right, let me show you something cool. Takes her to New Elantris, and is like, yeah, things are pretty good here. And she sees a guy making a sculpture with the bent nails, and she's like, oh no. And she sees people wearing the clothes, and they, like, love them. She's like, oh man, I was not being cool. And you guys actually like the gifts. Oh, man. And Raoden's like, yeah, it's okay. You know, we make two here. And she's like, don't be nice about it. Oh, no. All right, hold on. So Raoden said that his pain comes in like waves, and he's hanging out with Serene, and then all of a sudden just like, turns into a light being, and then Serene's like, dear God, and he's just, oh, hey, yeah, that happens to just me, though. He's so calm about it. And also, and I just remembered that Serene's not actually sick. But she's in Elantris, and they think she's sick, and she thinks she's sick, but it's gonna wear off. And I do like that Serene's like, hey, will you teach me how to do that, like, letter stuff? And he's probably like, oh, thank God. I've been trying to teach the other guys, and they don't want to learn. But, like, where is this going? Because that shit's going to wear off soon. And then what do they do? And what's Hrathen doing right now while she's here? Ooh! This just keeps getting worse. And so Raoden's like, hey, Serene, listen, stuff's going crazy. The guards aren't there. We don't know why. Can you give us any information about what's going on back in Kai? And she's like, you know what? I've had time to kind of calm myself down. Yeah. It's probably because, you know, the king, I dethroned him and then he killed himself. You know, that probably has something to do with it. Raven's just like, this book is nuts. I was wrong. Hrathen's not playing 3D chess. He's playing 4D, 5D, whatever is more intense than chess. This dude, I thought, was like, oh, okay, make Serene sick, get her out of Kai, she goes to Elantris, you can overthrow Kai, instill your own monarch. You're good, we'll figure it out. No. This dude thought all the way to where, get her sick, the message will reach her dad, and he'll hear that I got healed, and then he'll trade his kingdom for his daughter, even though she's not even sick, and it's just gonna wear off in a few days. What? This guy is crazy. Woo! A whole lot is happening on a whole lot of fronts. It is hilarious that Raoden thought he could harry in the Hendersons, Serene, and be like, get out of here, we don't want you here anymore. And she's like, dude, do you honestly think that's going to work on me? It's not. Come on. That was funny. It's actually gotten really funny and crazy because, like, politically, things are going left and right. Everyone's betraying everybody. But, like, Hrathen showing up and being like, you're welcome. I prayed for you. And Serene's like, no, you didn't. And also, I owe your god nothing. What a power move. And Hrathen, Mr. 5D chess over here, thinking he's got everything figured out. But then Lord Telri is like, no, totally. I have the throne now, but if I'm going to convert, I'm going to do it as a Gjorn. Yeah, you thought, did ya? Yeah, I don't think so. So now Hrathen's like, oh, yikes, okay. And Deloff is over here like hiding in the shadows, being like, yes, this is good. And even Hrathen's like, ooh, I don't like this guy at all. And Kalu is Raoden, just disguised. That is so funny. I did not see that coming at all. Maybe it's because I'm just like along for the ride. You know, like I try to pick up on things, but I also don't try to pick up on things, if that makes sense, you know? So I'm like, oh, there's a Duladel guy showing up, like Prince Ali Baba from Aladdin, you know, just makes a big swing and is like, hello everyone, he's here from Duladel. And Sereni's just like, let's fight. And he's like, okay, I guess. And she cuts him in the face. Sereni is wild. This guy shows up and she cuts him in the face. Yikes. And of course he's like, man, well, you know, pretty ladies, I don't know what to do. Raoden, you smooth talker, you. And Galadon's like his servant, and he's like, sheesh, that was close. Are we going to tell her that it's us? And he's like, I don't know, eventually, yeah. Like, Raoden, just be honest. Come on now. If there's anyone you can trust, it's Galadon. But other than Galadon, Sereni seems like she could be pretty cool, dude. Also, I really like Elendil? Sereni's guard. The guy who's just cutting arms off left and right. I like him a lot. I hope I get to see more of him. And I also hope I didn't just jinx him, and he's gonna die now because I said that I liked him a lot. But, yeah, we're good. We're good. Stuff's happening. It's bouncing left and right. Where's this gonna go? I don't know. Is Wern gonna show up? No, right? If anything, I feel like Deloff is just gonna show up one day and be like, I am the new Wern! Because that dude is nuts. They killed Royale. Man, that guy was awesome. I really liked him a lot. But Elendil is still alive, so that's good. And I do love how dramatic Raoden is. Because Telri shows up, and he's like, hey, by the way, I'm in charge now, and kill people, I guess, because why not? And Raoden pretends to wipe off makeup with the illusion of his actual face. And he's like, oh, I thought I was in charge. Dude is such a diva. It's so funny. And Sereni is like, what is happening? Spirit is Raoden. What? I did think it was very nice that Royale was like, it's okay, my boy. I can die in peace now. Good night. Crazy. Elendil's still alive, so that makes me happy. But also, Telri just dipped, and all his people just dipped. So they're gonna go tell somebody, probably Hrathen, and he's gonna be like, Raoden's still alive? Let's see what happens. We're in the Sanderlench now. Elendil killed Telri? Right in front of Hrathen? Hrathen's like, what is going on? I need to find the king. Oh. Yikes. But he also took one, and that hurts. Raoden gave her hair back. Aw, cute. Oh, wait a second. So Elendil died, which, you know, rest in peace to a real one. So Raoden and Sereni didn't know he was going to go attack Telri? What? See, Raoden's coronation is the perfect example of what I mentioned previously. People, get you a strong woman, alright? He's about to give his whole speech, and some dude's like singing magic words in the back and be like, make his hair fall out, and then sees his real face without skipping a beat. She's like, you know what? He can't be worse than the past two people, and I'll be the first one. This is my king. Started a movement, puts the crown on his head. Mwah! Beautiful. Wern sent the army of, like, warrior monks a month early? Uh-oh. It just said that the demons were moving as if a carved piece of metal was in their skin. Deloff is one of the demons? What? Hold the phone. Sereni's talking to a beggar named Hoyd. And some of you guys have mentioned Hoyd, the name, with the beggar that was in, oh God, what was the name of that city where they were? You know what I'm talking about. Wait a second. Keon just shows up out of nowhere with a battle axe and hacks this thing to death while chanting Teod war battle cries? Oh, this is awesome. So, Keon is actually a pirate who wielded a battle axe and he was the rightful king of Teod? This dude is the coolest. Listen, I have always liked Keon, but he might be my favorite now. That is awesome. Called it from the beginning. This Deloff dude is nuts. Straight up smacking Hrathen and being like, yeah, we're gonna wipe him out. Get with the program. Yikes. Nope, there's no way. They're going to have a, Miss Sunday outside of King's Landing sort of like, is this your guy? There's no way. Nope. Never mind. They did it. Damn, dude. Okay. Deloff is making a little more sense. That's rough. Still not worth wiping out entire cities, but, yeah, that's rough. I understand the hatred now. But still not good. Adian was an Elantrian this whole time? Yeah, just throw that out there, because why not? What? Deloff was there when Hrathen was training to be one of those, like, demon monks? He was the guy who was like, you're not cut out for this. And he was just playing him this whole time? Oh, man. Also, that is really funny that Randon's like, oh, I got it. I figured it out. And then he screams and Galadon is like, ooh, and just drops him into the water. Ooh, we got a Darth Vader turning on the Emperor moment. Amazing. Good job, Hrathen. I wasn't sure what you were going to do. But he showed up. That is a badass line, too. Nothing I do here is for show. Yeah, get it, dude. Karada and Galadon? Oh, man. Whoa. So Raoden transformed into, like, a real Elantrian? She would never know that he had come to love her. Hrathen likes Sereni too? Listen, heart wants what it wants, right? I'm telling you, Sereni's a catch. Fionn stabbed Hrathen, and is like, wow, that was easy. And then got breakfast. What? The disrespect. That was cool. That was very cool. Hrathen showing up, and he's got like a Trigun Vash the Stampede arm, and he literally just holds up Deloff and snaps his neck, and then falls down. That's badass. That is cool. The wedding night, I see. Sereni, you dirty dog. Okay. That was good. Though, the audiobook had a postscript, and it was a chapter with Hoyd, and, like, a photo-negative version of a Sion, and he was, like, trying to become Elantrian, and he was, like, disappointed when he didn't have the powers. What is that about? Huh. Anyway, yeah, I'm probably gonna do a full review tomorrow on Elantris, but it's done. We did it. All right, I finished it, and we are gonna talk about it. Let's do this. First off, I read Mistborn Era 1 first, and then I came into this book here, Elantris, because I saw a bunch of other people's reading orders, and they said that this one should be next. So I did not know what to expect. I did know going into this that this was Brandon Sanderson's first published book. So knowing that, obviously, as far as like the technical side of it, I had assumed that Mistborn would be technically better just because, you know, you learn. You get better the more you do it. So I went in with no expectations other than it's supposed to be very good, and it's different from Mistborn. And it was different from Mistborn. I'm going to be completely honest. It did drag a little bit for me. It did in the middle here. I think the reason was because the stakes weren't quite as high, you know, whereas like, and I'm trying not to compare it, but I'm just so obsessed with Mistborn right now. And like from the very beginning, Mistborn, stakes are life and death. It is terrifying. Then just going to a meeting, it's like, yeah, she's going to a meeting, but if it goes south, Kame is going to beat the shit out of her. Like there's so much going on, the Lord Ruler, whereas this, the stakes weren't as obvious in the, like, for the beginning. Like the political intrigue is happening, but at no point was I like, okay, yeah, like we need to get this going. You know, like political intrigue was one of my favorite parts of the Well of Ascension because they're vying for power and like there's an army coming and like shit is bad. We need to figure this out. So it did drag a little bit in the middle for me here. But that's okay because it picked up, and you know, the Sanderlanche is a real thing. It just bam, bam, bam. Once it got going, it got going. The characters. I liked Serene a lot. I thought she was very cool. I liked Raoden as well. Hrathen's arc is probably the coolest. You know, this guy who, like, gets introduced as this kind of hard-assed sort of, I mean, for lack of a better word, bad guy. But then, at the moment of truth, when it's like, are you actually the bad guy? And he wasn't. And he did make the right choice at the end. I thought was very cool. That's a trope that I think is kind of fun when the bad guy turns good at the last minute and dies. Sacrifices himself for the greater good. Outside of his faith, I thought was very cool. Delof, being the real bad guy and like literally a monster, I thought that was very cool. Overall, I did enjoy it. I'm excited to read Hope of Elantris after this. I did not like it as much as Era 1, but, you know, there were less characters, there was less going on, and, you know, again, maybe this is the only bad thing about going from book to book to book to book, like the way that I'm doing it, is it's hard to come off of one thing and then move on to another and not have that other thing in the back of your mind. So, like, Raoden is cool, but he's not Elend. You know what I mean? And, like, Elend is such a great character. Like, Raoden was cool. Also, the door stuff and the Aendor stuff and, like, the letters and shit went way over my head. So much of that I was like, okay, yeah, it's a letter, and we're writing out the letter, but then you draw it, and the magic, like, so much of that I was like, I had to really focus. There were a lot of names and a lot of places that I feel like my brain just refused to accept. I was like, is this important information? Which now, you know, having dipped my toes in the pool of Brandon Sanderson, I feel like everything is important, so I'm like really trying hard. But I don't know. I mean, the people that Serene was training to fight, I'm like, yeah, like they come in handy, you know, at the end. I thought that was a really cool moment. But I don't know. I didn't find myself connecting with these characters as much as I did the Mistborn characters. But I did enjoy this book. I like the magic of it. I like the different peoples. I like that there were gods but not gods. I like that it wasn't simple, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I thought it was a really cool ride. It was funnier than I expected. That was something that I did not foresee, was just how funny it is and how funny it would be. And just the miscommunication of everything going on cracked me up. My favorite character is probably Kian. That reveal at the end where, you know, her uncle's just this bombastic dude that likes to cook and loves his family and travels the world. And honestly, he's a lot like my dad. So that was pretty cool. And then at the end, you find out that he actually, the throne was his, and he was a pirate at some point, and then he gave it up. And like, that's cool. I like Kian a lot. Overall, it was like Kian, and then probably Galadon. I thought Galadon was very cool. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Overall, it was good. I'm excited to see what Hope of Elantris is, because that's what's next. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna knock that out tonight, and then I'll make a review video of that as well. But yeah, Hrathen was probably the most interesting character in the book. But everyone kind of brought their own thing, which I thought was cool. I love the idea that it never really explained, unless I missed it, it never really explained, like, what was the cause of the fall of the Elantrians, and why Raoden specifically was able to, like, re-power the letters. Unless I missed it. If I missed it, please let me know. But basically, am I wrong in thinking that Raoden was able to figure it out because he knew how to read and write? And that's all it took? Maybe? Because he had hope, and then he kept practicing his letters, and then eventually, like, just like a car that needs to start and has a clutch in it, you just, like, push it down the road and eventually it picks up steam. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the story. I like the idea that it was, like, a battle of religions and faiths as well as politics, and the idea that it was just about converting them as opposed to, like, the true faith, and Hrathen playing the game and constantly getting outsmarted, or outplayed, I guess. And Serene, the same thing happens. And pretty much everyone is like, oh, this is what's going to happen. And they don't see this other person coming around and doing their thing. Yeah. But so far, I'm very happy with my order. I'm excited to see what Hope of Elantris is about. After Hope of Elantris, I'm doing The Emperor's Soul, and then White Sand, and then Era 2. And I am so excited for Era 2. So excited. It's going to be great. But yes, Elantris, done. On to The Hope of Elantris.